You're not broke, you earn well, pay your bills, and live a normal life, so why does it still feel like you're going nowhere? This is the quiet trap. The more your lifestyle matches your income, the less you actually move forward. Opening scene Kong, minimal background music. What if nothing is wrong with your income, and yet, you still never seem to get ahead? Not broke, not struggling in an obvious way, bills are paid. Life looks normal, and that's exactly the problem. Because for millions of people across the US and Europe, financial stagnation doesn't come from bad decisions, it comes from perfectly normal ones. Scene E, relatable scenario. Let's take a simple example. You're 28. You live in a mid-sized city. You have a stable job earning around $70,000 a year after taxes, healthcare, and deductions. You take home roughly $4,200 a month. Nothing unusual here. Now let's quietly look at where that money goes. Rent $1 600 car payment $450 insurance and fuel $250 groceries $400 student loan $300 subscriptions phone utilities $300 dining out social life $500 that's already around $4,800 which leaves you $400 not zero but not meaningful either. And this is where the trap becomes invisible, because from the outside everything looks responsible. You're not overspending wildly, you're not making reckless choices, you're just living normally. Scene 2, the hidden problem. The issue isn't that the numbers don't work, it's that they work too perfectly. Every dollar has a place, every expense feels justified, but the system leaves no room for real progress. Let's do something very simple. That $400 left over per month, if you save it consistently for a year, that's $4,800 over 5 years, ignoring interest, that's $24,000. Now compare that to your total income over those 5 years. $70,000乘5等于$45,000 before tax. You earned hundreds of thousands and kept only a small fraction. Not because you were careless, but because the system absorbed everything else. Scene 3, the quiet system at work. Here's the part most people don't notice. Modern lifestyles are designed to scale with your income. You earn more, you move to a better apartment. You'll get a raise, you'll upgrade your car, you feel stable, your spending quietly expands. Not dramatically, just slightly, but over time, those small adjustments become permanent, and suddenly, your baseline cost of living becomes too high to escape. This is the quiet trap. There's no dramatic failure, no obvious mistake, just a slow alignment between your income and your obligations. Scene 4, psychology behind it. Why does this happen? Because humans don't evaluate money in absolute terms. We evaluate it socially. You don't ask, can I afford this long term? You ask, is this normal for someone like me? If your peers are paying $1,600 in rent, that becomes reasonable. If everyone around you finances a car, that becomes standard. If your coworkers travel twice a year, that becomes expected. It's not pressure in an obvious sense. It's quiet alignment. You adjust, without realizing you've adjusted, and over time, your lifestyle becomes less about choice, and more about maintaining a standard. Scene 5, the cost over time. Now stretch this out over 10 to 15 years, same pattern. Slight raises, slight upgrades, no major mistakes, but also, no meaningful accumulation. You might have a car that's still being paid off or replaced a higher rent or mortgage, some savings, but not enough to create freedom at 40. You're stable, but still dependent on your monthly income, not because you failed, but because you never created distance between what you earn and what you spend, and that distance is where financial growth lives. Scene 6, shift in perspective. Financially intelligent people don't necessarily earn dramatically more, they just see the same situation differently. When their income increases, they don't immediately ask, what can I upgrade? They ask, what can I keep the same? Because every expense you don't upgrade quietly becomes an investment. If your income goes up by $1,000 a month and your lifestyle only increases by $200, that $800 gap becomes powerful, not overnight, but consistently. And consistency, in finance, matters more than intensity. Scene 7, a different way to think. Instead of viewing expenses as isolated decisions, they view them as long-term commitments. A car payment isn't just $450 a month. It's $27,000 over 5 years. A slightly nicer apartment isn't just $300 more. It's $18,000 over 5 years. Seen this way, normal decisions start to look different. Not wrong, just expensive over time. And once you see that clearly, you stop optimizing for comfort in the present and start balancing it against flexibility in the future. Scene 8, quiet awareness. This isn't about cutting everything or living minimally. It's about recognizing that normal spending patterns often lead to average financial outcomes, and average outcomes rarely create freedom. The goal isn't to feel restricted, it's to become aware of how small, repeated decisions shape your long-term position. Because once you see the pattern, you don't need motivation, you just need clarity. Scene 9, subtle trade-offs. There's a trade-off happening in the background of your life, not dramatic, not obvious, but constant. Every fixed expense you commit to rent, car, subscriptions reduces your future flexibility. Not today. Today, everything feels manageable, but 6 months from now, a year from now, those same fixed costs are still there. And now they define your choices. You can't easily take a lower paying opportunity. You can't step away from work for a few months. You can't experiment without risk, because your lifestyle has become non-negotiable. Scene 10. The illusion of stability. This is where many people confuse stability with progress, a steady paycheck, predictable expenses, a routine life. It feels secure, but stability without growth is just maintenance. You're maintaining a lifestyle, not building a future. And over time, maintenance becomes a loop: earn, spend, reset, repeat. Years pass, but financially, not much changes. Scene 11. Small decisions, big direction. What makes this trap so powerful is that it doesn't come from big decisions. It comes from small, reasonable ones. Slightly better apartment because you can afford it. A newer car because your old one still works but this one feels right. More convenience because your time feels limited. Each decision makes sense on its own, but combined, they set a direction. And direction matters more than intention, because you can intend to save, invest, and grow. But if your monthly structure doesn't allow it, those intentions don't translate into reality. Scene 12. Reframing affordability. Most people define affordability like this: if I can pay for it monthly, I can afford it. But financially aware people define it differently. If this reduces my ability to build assets or create options, then I'm paying more than the price tag. Because the real cost of something isn't just what you pay today, it's what you give up tomorrow. Scene 13. Time as the missing factor. There's another layer most people ignore. Time. Money can be earned back, time can't. When your financial structure forces you to work continuously just to sustain your lifestyle, you're not just spending money, you're committing future time. 5 years of payments is 5 years of required income. 10 years of a high-cost lifestyle is 10 years of dependency, and that's a cost most people never calculate. Scene 14. A slight shift, not a drastic one. The solution isn't extreme. It's not about cutting everything or living below basic comfort. It's about creating a small but consistent gap, a gap between what you earn and what you need to spend. Even a few $100s more per month directed intentionally can change your trajectory over time, not instantly, but predictably. Scene 15. What changes quietly? When that gap exists, something subtle happens. You stop feeling financially tight. You stop depending entirely on your next paycheck. You start building something that doesn't reset every month, and slowly, your relationship with money changes from reactive to controlled, from maintaining to building. Final conclusion. Come close. The quiet trap isn't about overspending. It's about unconscious alignment. Your lifestyle rises just enough to keep you in place, and because everything feels normal, you never question it. But once you do, once you see how the system works, you don't need drastic change. You just need a slight shift in direction. And over time, that shift becomes distance. Soft CTA. If this gave you a clearer perspective, you can subscribe for more calm, realistic insights like this.